Previously on What Fate Will Boruto Catch Next? In last time on Boruto, more problems than shadow clones. Next on The Land of Fire at Anything That Moves.
From Cannibal Tree People to Daddy Issues Part 2, Boruto has officially collected the Infinity Stones of Fuck Around and Find Out.
And I've got to say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
As the chapter leads to a very pissed Mitsuki who found out Boruto was there as Boruto was trying to have some alone time with his main lady and side piece in the village. But before we get to that, the chapter starts with Shikamaru realizing just how absolutely garbage the situation is for him, as he's questioning not only his memories, but who he can even ask for help now knowing the scale of the memory manipulation.
Let's get started.
The chapter starts with Shikamaru speaking with the elders of the village that really answer directly to the daimyo. And without breaking down the hidden leaf politics entirely, the Hokage and the elders low-key are equal in political power, but they just usually never have the power to physically remove the Hokage, except for maybe right now it seems like, as they're talking heavy to Shikamaru, starting off with their confusion on the Boruto situation, specifically why he came back and helped after killing the Hokage. At this point, Shikamaru already knows something is up, but he plays it safe and tells them the obvious that Code was only driven away because of Boruto. Also at this point, you can tell the Black Air Force energy has permeated the Hidden Leaf thoroughly, because even after hearing this, the elders
don't care, still don't care,
and still want the smoke with Boruto, essentially saying the ninja equivalent version of "we stand on business."
I'm the type of nigga stand on business, nigga. One man arm against 50, nigga. Which one do that? I stand on business, nigga.
By explaining Konoha's honor is at risk if they let him live, especially after trying to assassinate Uzumaki Kawaki. Still weird to hear Kawaki Uzumaki, but I think it's growing on me. I digress. Anyway, after they get done complaining to Shikamaru like he wasn't looking out the window at the village earlier, like before getting there, they tell him he needs to officially take the Hokage position, because again, the leaf can't look weak, and Shikamaru doesn't say shit, but we all know in his head he's like,
here's another idea that's going to be very controversial. You could shut the fuck up
as he's walking away. Before cutting away from Shikamaru, we see a few more panels of him asking Ino for something and having a secret conversation blocked off from any listeners by Ino herself, as Shikamaru tries to figure out how to get the village through this, without telling too many people, of course. Next, we get the very much expected conversation between Ada and Kawaki, as quite frankly, Ada is the closest we've ever seen to shitting bricks, just hitting that straight courage the cowardly dog right now, wearing an even colder expression as she's explaining to Kawaki exactly what the fuck she saw at Gang 10 Tails HQ. We're brought into the conversation as Ada has just told Kawaki that they've developed self-awareness and that some way, somehow, they are evolving. At this point, I would bring up how messing with the timeline might have, you know, a little bit to do with it, but telling Kawaki something he needs to hear seems to always go sideways for everyone else. Anyways, the conversation ends with Ada telling him that they're trying to eat Naruto and herself as well, and since Kawaki ain't no simp, he skips over that last part and asks why they're after Lord Seventh, and what they could be after, and Ada pretty much responds with,
I have no knowledge of any of this.
Before Damon says the most logical thing that they could, that if they know Naruto is alive, then Kawaki could get found out that he lied about it. And Kawaki kinda shrugs off the biggest threat to his position in Konoha and walks away. After Mitsuki tells Kawaki he's gonna be stuck to his side, we cut back to Boruto's reunion with the girls. The conversation shifts to Boruto explaining he doesn't have much time to explain the situation, after masking his chakra signature, going right into how Sasuke was absorbed since Sarada still had no idea what happened to her father. Boruto pretty much gets that out in the first couple sentences before Kawaki senses his presence, and Mitsuki immediately takes action to go handle it. Now with them on the way, well, kind of them on the way, Boruto explains the last bit he can, explaining how he had to leave Sasuke to escape, and with further questioning from class rep, explains how the Ten Tails' main objective of absorbing chakra to turn into a divine tree has mutated in a sense. And now we're evolving into divine trees, then abruptly switching back to Mitsuki reporting sensing beef in the area, essentially, from his Boruto alert that he just put to sleep, so Boruto isn't warned of his arrival from Kawaki's chakra signature, which is why I said it was kind of them showing up, before cutting back to the end of Boruto's explanation of the divine trees and how he really doesn't know for sure what's going on, and says not only the most logical but only option of Code's chakra affecting the divine trees through the little amount of Otsutsuki essence, aka karma, he has. After finishing explaining, Shikamaru cuts in like,
Hey fam, this is a private line. You might want to dip before the ops get there though.
after trying to get Boruto to trust him by telling him he's not officially Hokage yet. When Mitsuki gets there and tries to subdue him, Mitsuki tries the same trick he used on Kawaki on Boruto to, have him take a nap. But with a few seconds of warning from Shikamaru, he manages to flying Raijin and hit a pose to save face in front of his ladies, before facing Mitsuki. Mitsuki now, with his Sage Mode activated, looks like the kid you become friends with because when he tells you not to come to school tomorrow,
You don't go to school tomorrow.
Anyways, after acknowledging Mitsuki has arrived, Boruto listens to Mitsuki talk about how much he's been waiting for this and telling Sarada to stay out of the way cause he can't control his power and he's just simply him. Boruto whips out Papa Sasuke's purple lightning to counter the first snake assault before flying about 10 stories up to avoid the second snake assault from the ground. At this point, we have full confirmation that Boruto does have most of Sasuke's techniques, and more importantly, can fly seemingly without Momoshiki's help at all. Now, without having to worry about Mitsuki since he's out of range, he promises Sarada that he'll rescue Sasuke and everyone else, and starts to say something else before saying never mind and hitting the classic Arnie line of
I'll be back.
Now Sarada just looks up at him, rightfully terrified at how quickly it went 0 to 100 and everything else before watching Boruto fly away out of the village. Now almost like nothing happened, Boruto continues his conversation with Shikamaru like,
Bro, a little more warning next time if you want a little more trust, old man.
Shikamaru then basically apologizes by explaining that not only does the village want Boruto dead, but the entire land of fire has dapped each other up and agreed he should be taken care of. So as Hokage, he can't openly help him, but through hearing Abado's conversation about his own memories being altered, Shikamaru is returning to old form as he starts piecing some more pieces of the puzzle. And straight up asks Boruto if he's actually Naruto's son, and how reversing Kawaki's position in Boruto's, it starts making more sense, even though Boruto looks just like Naruto, but we'll ignore that right now, I guess. As the chapter ends with Boruto ending the conversation early, as Mitsuki has still been tracking him, so now Boruto has to stand on business rather than float from it. With my guess for why instead of just continuing to run, being that he doesn't want Mitsuki to have a chance to find out where he's been camping out, probably near where Sasuke is absorbed by Ten Tails tree, and we'll have more time to double check for trackers on him after Mitsuki has been put down for a quick nap like Kawaki. So next chapter should be a full-fledged fight between the two, with his hunt for divine trees being put on hold for future chapters, which we'll cover right here on the channel. And now that we have that business out of the way, here's the little rant. I never really do rant bits because I feel like people automatically deem you a Boruto hater whenever you have criticism of the show or manga. And it's not really, this isn't a hot take, but these last couple chapters should have been the beginning of Two Blue Vortex. And hear me out before you leave. It really comes down to this. One, what has Kawaki done for the story so far? And I mean just in the time skip, absolutely nothing. So why show him and Boruto meeting up for the first time after the time skip in the beginning of the chapters when it has really no importance? And I say that because if you remember when Naruto and Sasuke met after the time skip, Sasuke with little effort pretty much lifts his pinky toe, takes out all of Naruto's squad and Naruto of course, and pretty much has them thoroughly beaten before just leaving. Kawaki and Boruto meet up after, Boruto is pretty much humbled Code thoroughly, to put it as accurately as possible. They pretty much just look at each other. As weird as that sounds, they don't really have too much of an interaction. And Code being humbled as the beginning of the Two Blue Vortex time skip wasn't necessarily a terrible step, but it was really an unnecessary one. We already know what Code was going to do against Boruto after the time skip. Sure, it was cool to see Boruto humble him, but if they would have just started with Kashin Koji just already having Boruto led to the Ten Tails, and it had been just boom, they're at the Ten Tails at the beginning of the Two Blue Vortex time skip, and there's a quick summary of like Boruto's been leading or has been tailing has been tailing Code for how many weeks or days, and that Code attacked the village and then like left the village and Boruto knew. But pretty much they should have cut that interaction with Code and Boruto in the village in the beginning to way less than it was. It almost shouldn't even have been a full chapter, in all honesty. They could have cut that up had it been like half a chapter, so then we could cut to that actual meat of the time skip that we're getting, where it's the divine trees, Boruto explaining the situation, Amado realizing what's going on with his memories, and then Shikamaru going from there, and then Mitsuki, and then on to the divine trees. So essentially we should have started around the hit list time where the divine trees have made the list. Boruto had a quick interaction with Code, and then we know that Kashin Koji has led him to Code, essentially. That's how they should have done it. So that could have been like a chapter or two. And so they didn't have to get to like 5 or 6 chapters. And now we're seeming to pick up a lot more speed. And really, I say this because the sales for Two Blue Vortex were the best when it first came out. And obviously, that's not a hot take or anything. That's the logical way it's going to be after taking a break from the series. So if you're going to capitalize off actually releasing more content after a break, why would you start with information we kind of know with a Code versus Boruto battle and really not much interaction with Kawaki and kind of just showing him for next to no reason, like the panel where we see Kawaki looking at Naruto and Hinata, where we already know where they are. So rant's over. If you made it this far in the video, I love you. I appreciate you tuning in. If I should do more rant videos, I guess you should let me know, but I really just wanted to put this at the tail end. I've been your boy Nimbus. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.